When I'm training for professional competitions, men and women always ask me for advice. To women, I say push yourself harder than you ever have before and go beyond your comfort zone. Focus on your goals. Men, if I am willing to push myself to become Mr. Olympia in 2022, then I only have one thing to say to you. Bring your A game.
Here we go again.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey everybody, how we doing today? We doing fine? Hopefully everybody's doing fine. This is part 2 because we need a part 2, right? Thank you so much, Luke Casely. Thank you, Frederick. That was a throwback. See, I forgot about that. Wa alaikum assalam. Ramadan Kareem to everybody. I hope everybody who is observing Ramadan, I hope theirs is going well. I hope your fast is going well. Be happy that you're not in the longest days. This is not a summertime fast. This is a spring fast. Soon we'll be in wintertime fast. And now those will be zipped by so quick. So I know a lot of us fasting veterans, but some people not so much. So if you're not a fasting veteran, I'm praying for you. Just hold on. It's so good for you. Just hold on. If you're fasting now, and this is like new and you're a new Muslim, take heart. Depending on how old you are, you might not ever see a summer fast. It took more than 20 years for me to get around to a summer fast. Yeah, I took Shahada in 96 in December, and Ramadan, I believe, was in December at that time. It was shortly after, and it was wintertime, and then it took basically them 20 years to get to the summer. But I wouldn't take nothing away from it. It rotates like that because it's a lunar calendar, and lunar calendars go back 2 weeks. 2 weeks every year. Each lunar month goes back. Every year, each lunar month moves back 2 weeks because it's going by the phase of the moon. So anyway, we're going to revisit CamNewton and his so-called controversial comments about women, which was not controversial. It's only controversial because today we're going to get into why it's controversial. What was so triggering about it? Because hyenas are weak, and the mere mention of anything feminine or femininity at all triggers them because they know they're too weak to do it. They know they don't have what it takes to be feminine. So any mention, particularly by man, really by anybody, it's not even just by man. Because they get mad at me. They get mad at Danica. They get mad at Chantel. They get mad at Shay Sade. They get mad. They just stay mad. You get mad, you get mad, you get mad. Everybody get mad. Remember that on Sesame Street? You just mad. You just mad. Anyway. I don't know if y'all remember that. That was a throwback. That just came to me. Used to sit up on Saturday morning and then hear that on Sesame Street. But anyway. So I'm going to play again the actual clip because there were some points he made that I didn't touch yesterday that we going to cook today. So before I do that, I want to bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to Thank you, Too Tall. Thank you. So we are going to, let's see, really quickly. I want to go exactly to it. Oh. Share my screen real quick. And we're going to go back to it. It's only about a minute and 20 seconds. So you can hear the whole, well, this is just the part that he talked about women. So we're going to play that.
I had a perfect example of what a man was in my life by my father. My parents has been together for 36, 37 years now, and it's a beautiful thing. I grew up in a 3-parent household, my mom, my father, and my grandmother. And I knew what a woman was, not a bad bitch.
Okay, what's the difference?
A woman.
Okay. A
bad bitch is a person who's just, you know, girl, I'm a bad bitch, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I looked the part.
Now his little imitation of them was spot on. Because that's what they be sitting there doing. I'm a bad bitch. They sit there and do that stupid stuff. All their whole life is a hashtag off of Facebook. But okay.
I don't act the part.
Okay.
You know, and it's a lot of women who are bad bitches. And I say bitches in a way, not to degrade a woman, but just to go off the aesthetic of what they deem is a boss chick. Now, a woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs, right? And I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss bitch, like I'm a this, I'm a that, no, baby, like, but you can't cook.
Okay.
You don't know when to be quiet. You don't know how to allow a man to lead.
Okay, so that was the clip. I'm gonna go ahead and come out of that. So that is the clip that we are referring to today, and it's got the hyenas up in arms, got the feather dusters up. Thank you, Philip said, then of course they would take it to the extreme of the intended meaning. I'm not a slave trying to control us, blah, blah, blah. Exactly. Now, let's touch on, before I really get into the meat of everything, let's really touch on something he said, okay? You don't know how to cater to a man's needs. All of this stuff triggered them because they don't feel like they need to cater to a man's needs because men don't have needs within the confines of a relationship. Let them tell it. Men don't need anything except maybe some box. And then you lazy about that. And then you try to hold that hostage. Okay? Try to make that a point of leverage in a relationship or a point of contention so it can be a power struggle because you want him to beg you to have sex with him. Girl, that's a whole nother video. But anyway, not knowing how to cater. Okay, because just a few months ago, wasn't they mad at Destiny Child's song? That song about 90 years old. The Cater to You. It wasn't even a really good song as far as the beat and the cadence. I didn't really like the song. I mean, but it wasn't saying nothing wrong. Right? She was talking about catering to her man. That's what they were singing about. how I can do for you, what I can do for you, the type of, I can have your dinner waiting. I can have your massage waiting. I can have some sex waiting. I can have some, just make you feel good. What can I do to make my man feel good? What can I do? And they dug that song up to be mad at it. So they having a problem with him saying you can't cater because they don't have any sense about, okay, I'm in a relationship. That goes two ways. That goes two ways. I need something out of him. Women consistently need stuff out of men. Specifically these four things. Specifically, women need these. Specifically, women need these out of a man. His 4 P's, they need his provision, they need his problem solving, they need his protection and procreation. And let me say one thing before I continue on as well. When we start talking, when you hear these women talk about what a man provides, they always say provision and protection. What about problem solving and procreation? I always have to, whenever it's necessary or whenever there's an opportunity, I always interject and say there are 2 other P's. Provision and protection is not the only thing. I find that to be a very hyena way to look at that. Men are ATMs and attack dogs. That's what I get out of that. Because what happened to the other 2 P's? What happened to the problem solving and the procreation? What happened to that? What happened to a man? Oh, I know what happened to it. I know what happened to it. Problem solving is part of leadership. They don't like me and leading. That's why don't nobody never say problem solving. That's why they don't say it. Everybody stops at provision and protection. I need money and an attack dog. You better go buy you a Cane Corso then. If you want an attack dog, a Cane Corso is one of the best guard and attack dogs that you can get. I suggest that you find a reputable kennel, pay them few stacks because they not cheap dogs. Make sure you got plenty of room because they big and they slob a lot. So you want an attack dog? I suggest you go to a kennel. Get a Corso, get a German Shepherd. You might not be able to handle a Presa Canario. He'll be about crazy as you is. You tear each other up in that house. But a man is not found at the kennel. You're not supposed to find your man at the kennel. So he can be your attack dog. So that's stopping at provision and protection. I'm not down with that. Feminine women do not stop at provision and protection because we don't see men as ATMs and attack dogs. We see men as men. So we include the problem solving and the procreation because those two, the procreation is included because once you're married, you no longer control sex. I didn't think y'all was ready for that one. Thank you, JJ. once you're married, you no longer control sex. It's not in your control anymore. Bet you didn't know that. Now, sex is your husband's right, not a privilege. Thank you, Teddy Bear. You can control sex long as you ain't married. Once that marriage has taken place, you vowed, you gave that right up. You gave that up. See, y'all don't be knowing what that is. So enraptured in the American nightmare way to quote unquote get married to somebody, it's always just about paperwork. And since there's no spiritual connection involved with the actual marriage and the emotional connection and the solidarity and the what's the word I'm looking for? The sanctity is not there. The spiritual sanctity. But I'm not going to go off of that because that's a little bit of a tangent. But anyway, let me keep going. Let me keep my focus. But the reason that I said that is because y'all still be trying to control access to sex after marriage as a control mechanism. That's why it don't work. You ain't getting none tonight. Says who? If I tell you to get over here and drop to them knees right now, that's what you better do. But you're so independent. Anyway, let's move on to the other part of what he said. We did the cooking yesterday. But what about you don't know how to shut your mouth? You don't know how to shut your mouth. You a bad bee. You this and you that. You so well educated. You're so aware of yourself and aware of the world that you don't know how to shut your mouth. Now, what is we talking about, shut your mouth? Are we saying that there's never any opportunity for a woman to say anything to her husband? Let's not be crazy. Let's not be crazy. Any functional, healthy relationship that you are having requires communication. Communication is not an argument. It is not reading somebody the riot act. It's not calling yourself, telling him where to get on and where to get off. That's not communication. That's fighting. And most of y'all don't know the difference, and you think that if somebody don't want you to fight, they don't want you to talk. Because that's the only kind of talking you know, is to how to have an argument or how to be talking slick. So you don't know no other type of communication, how to talk to your man, because you don't see him as a human being worthy of respect as you speak to him. You want him to talk to you with kid gloves now. Now, mind you, his communication got to be on point. He got to be able to say what he's saying, say it nice, but say it firm enough for you to take it seriously, but say it soft enough that your feelings ain't too hurt by it. Thank you, Bureau. But then say it with whipped cream on top, but then say it with, ain't nobody got time to be jumping through them hoops to tell you that I'm tired of coming home to a cold stove or hot pockets, or I gotta stop and get me something to eat before I come here, because I know that even if you did cook early, you and the kids ate all the food and you didn't even so much as put me a plate to the side. I ain't got time to be, you know what I'm saying, a 4-year study in the doctorate of how to talk to a hyena about something simple I want. Ain't nobody got time for that. You grown, ain't you? Because every other time you grown. Every other time you grown. And you know so much. And you know what's going on. And can't nobody tell you nothing. So why they gotta be so soft? Because I'm here to tell you, the man with the best communication, your feelings about to be hurt. And we talking about a man with emotional intelligence and articulate. And when he get ready to tell you something that is corrective to you, your feelings are about to get hurt. Now, how you respond to that will depend on whether or not you responding to that masculinely or feminine, or in your masculine energy or your feminine energy. Because if you respond to it in your masculine energy, you're going to have a rebuttal for everything he just said. And a perfect little excuse as to why you was right and he was wrong. And as to why he shouldn't have said what he said, quote unquote, how he's saying it. If you in your feminine energy, your feelings may still be hurt. But what you're going to do is you're going to accept what he said. And you're going to let him know that you accept what he said. And you're not going to have a perfect little excuse and a perfect little rebuttal for what he said. And if your feelings were especially hurt and you maybe cry a little bit or something like that, sometimes, not all the time. Because we're not going to get into that manipulative crying either. But sometimes he's not going to retract what he said because he meant that. But what he wasn't trying to do was hurt you. So he may actually say that. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I meant what I said. But come here. Come here. Because he knows that you're a woman. And as a woman, you apt to have an emotional reaction to something that was very logical. That's why he don't take it back. When the correction comes, this is what we're talking about, being about hushing your mouth. Always got something to say. Every single time. Unsolicited. Unwanted. And it be combative when you do open your mouth. You don't understand the vulnerability of the silence. You don't understand why that's feminine. Let me bring it home for you. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. If you have children or have raised children, that was a word that the old folk used to use with a combative child. That word was mannish. You mannish. Now they use that word for two types of children. A combative, mouthy kid, or a child that had a lot of sass to him, or that had a lot of more like adult kind of vibe to them. That kid was mannish. If it was a boy, if he started expressing his, like in puberty, he started expressing his masculinity and it was almost sexual, he was mannish. Mannish, not womanish. Mannish. Why? Because you got comeback, because you snapped it, because you got sass, because you got a mouth. Because you doing this. Because I told you to go in there and wash dishes and now you got some words you got to speak to me. Mannish. Now as a parent, we don't like that. Because you're showing me disrespect. I've corrected you or I told you something. But instead of actually doing that, you had a few things you needed to get off your little chest. Well, I'll be. Look at here. Mannish. AKA you're showing masculinity. Because men push back. Men and boys. Boys who are in puberty push back. They oppose. They will now start talking. This is why you need men in the house when you raising sons. Because a woman can't handle that because he outgrows you as an authority figure. He starts pushing against your rules, against what you say. He don't want to hear it. Am I lying, fellas? Y'all remember back when y'all was about 12, 13, 14? And the stuff that your mama said just didn't hit at 14 like it did when you was 8. Now, when you was 8 years old, you was kind of scared of a whooping. But at 14, she kind of almost better not touch you. I raised the boy. I know what it is. But we're going to come back because we're going to hit an A-game commercial and we will be right back.
Hey y'all, Donnie Keith here, aka Auntie Peaches from the Aunties Radio Show, also on The Voice of Reason. I'm here to say that ever since my man started taking A-game, he's been on top of his A-game. When I say A-game, I mean his A-game. He's more focused. He's definitely working out more. His attitude is better. And he's not complaining of all over body aches due to poor blood circulation because A-game provides great blood circulation. If you know what I mean, ladies. That blood circulation. Sometimes I have to hide the A-game in the bushes when I'm out walking the dog just because I want some sleep. If you know what I mean, ladies. Stay on top of your A-game, fellas. Get your A-game.
Better have the A-game in the bushes, y'all. That's what Auntie Peaches told y'all to do. Have the A-game in the bushes, ladies, if you want some sleep. Because you won't get none. He get that box. It's over. But it'll be over in a good way. It's over, but it just began. Come on, But when boys outgrow the authority of their mother, that's every woman on the planet. He has outgrown every female. Now let's get back to the word mannish. A man, masculinity, you are pushing back. That is why all that back talk is masculine. Because masculine energy is an energy of pushing. It is a kinetic energy. It is an energy that goes, that does. Men oppose environments. Right? Men oppose. So when you are opposing your man, see, we need whole lessons as black women on how to talk and how to act. Because arguing with your man is not how you get heard by him. There is a very huge difference between speaking to your man in a way that you need him to listen and you need to be heard, and then getting loud and trying to argue with him to make him see what's going on and all that kind of stuff. Like he shuts down with that. Hey, Third Ward, he shuts down with that arguing. It's not gonna go. It's not gonna go. That is not good communication, number one. Number one, arguments are not good communication. That is, an argument happens when communication has broken down. That's when arguments happen. Can we agree to that? Arguments occur when good communication has either never been there or what would pass as good communication has now broken down. It has descended into an argument. Because now we yelling, now we not hearing nothing. I just got to get my point across. I just got to say what I got to say, and da. That is chaotic. That's chaotic. It doesn't help resolve a problem. It does not help. It may create more problems. It undermines problem solving is what it does. Feminine women understand how to talk rather than argue. If I need my man to hear me because there is something really going on with me, I have to ask if we may speak. And before I get to the if we can speak part, I have to have worked out in my head and in my heart exactly what I'm trying to say. What is it that I need him to hear? Because remember, we work through our emotions first before we get down to our logic. So you may need time before you ever bring anything to him to work through that emotional obstacle course that we have. It's like a gauntlet. I know it is for me, good Lord. And when we do that, we have to work out what it is that I'm trying to say and what is the end goal of what I'm saying. What is it that I want him to really hear, or what is it that I'm really trying to say because I'm trying to get a resolution from it. If you come without having worked that out, you might actually descend into an argument because you're trying to articulate it. He doesn't know what you really talking about. It's coming off too emotional to him, and he might actually shut you down. If he shuts you down, you feel unheard. And then you begin to question whether or not you can come to him to talk because he always shuts you down. Are we understanding exactly what I'm saying? Because if you come too chaotically and he can't cut through the mustard, or he cut through the mustard and interpreted your emotions the wrong way, now you're going to feel some type of way. So listen, ladies, it's best to actually think. Get the emotions out. Make a prayer. Go to your Lord. Ask for some guidance on what you need to say, especially if it's very hard for you to say, or you think that it will be potentially contentious if you don't say it right? Think about it. Get the guide, meditate, whatever you got to do, whatever it is, drink some tea, whatever it is, meditate, think, pray. Okay, I need to say this. It's very, very important to me, and I need him to hear it. What can I say? So get him in a position at a time where he's not stressed out, where he's not thinking of other things, where he's not in the middle of things. You don't want to bring a serious conversation and all y'all was just laughing at the TV just now. You know what I mean? You want to, sometimes it's almost pillow talk. Sometimes it's after dark pillow talk. Cause that sometimes be the most relaxed you can get him. We not hitting him right when he come in the door. Because you don't know what he just got through doing. You don't know what's on his mind. You don't know what his disposition is. So you can't just go on the attack. You can't do it. No matter what your intent is, you have hush. All this go back to managing your mouth. And after 20 years of marriage, this was a lesson for me to learn. Because I didn't have a lot of emotional control. I ain't gonna get into it. But I had a lot going on and I didn't have a lot of emotional discipline. So whenever I felt something, and I feel things very intensely. So whenever I felt something, I would say it. Just young and stupid. Don't know when to shut your mouth. So I'm telling you what worked and what didn't work, right? Stop bombarding them. Listen, sometimes the best time to talk to your man is after you done, gave him some clarity. When you understand what I'm saying? You done he nice and relaxed then. He nice and relaxed. Yeah, baby. Ooh, Now, what was that you said you wanted to talk to me? Perfect time. Babe, yesterday when we had that talk and I just got really quiet. Yeah. I just got quiet because my feelings were really hurt. Just because my feelings were hurt because of this. This is what was said, and this is how it made me feel. And I just needed to say that because I didn't want to carry that. I just didn't want to carry that with me. So I'm sorry that I got upset yesterday and then I got really quiet. I wasn't trying to ruin everything. I just needed you to know what was going on with me. He may think back. Let me give y'all a secret, ladies. Let me give y'all a secret. Should I give y'all a little secret? I'm going to tell something on y'all. I'm going to tell something on the men. I'm going to tell on y'all a little bit. a lot of times when we do that and we come at them with that emotional kind of thing, and we approach them properly and we tell them about our feelings being hurt, two things. And the guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. Two things. First of all, he does care about your feelings. He does care about your feelings. He cares if you are hurting. That's what he cares about. He cares if you are hurting. Am I right so far? Because it's a second component to that. He cares if you're hurting. He cares if, he don't want your heart broken. He really don't. Especially if he has something to do with that. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like that. The other side of that coin, he don't care nothing about your feelings. I'm sorry. I kind of had it's both. It's like both. He cares if you're hurting, but he don't really. Thank you, Ruminate. It ain't really that deep though. Did I hit the nail on the head? Did I hit the nail on the head? Did I hit it too far on the head though? You don't really care. But we can't let that like really discourage us though, ladies. Because it's not that he don't care about us. But he don't have a lot of time for the emotional, cause we real emotional. We are. It ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm probably one of the most emotional women that anybody will ever meet. I will cry at the drop of a hat. I will listen. I'll be like, the world is falling. Like that's me. I am uber emotional. But men don't be caring about that. Because they can't really do nothing with it. They can't really do nothing with that. So if this is why it's so important for you to actually hush when you're feeling that, my emotions, they're everywhere. It's almost better. I found personally it's better to not say nothing. Because you actually can't. I don't know how many women can relate to this one, but if I'm super emotional, I have to be quiet. Because if I'm not quiet, I'll do, it'll come out like a machine gun. And that's all the emotions. He doesn't have the mental space for it. He doesn't have the space for it. He doesn't have the space. It's not that he don't love you. It's not that he doesn't care whether or not you're hurting and things of that nature. He does care about that stuff. But every part of your emotional output, he can't. That's no. And some of the men are actually saying the difference. This is how you know when you need to actually say something to your man. And then I'll move on to these other points. Is it something he can do about what you're saying? If there's nothing he can do about it, you can't bring him that emotional baggage because he can't solve it. And that will actually frustrate him because he wants to solve it. And if he realizes he can't, that'll actually frustrate the entire situation. So that's the other rule of thumb. If there is nothing he can do about it, don't bring it to him. Bring it to your Lord. Don't bring it to him though. Bring it to the prayer mat, but don't bring it to him. Because sometimes we do just gotta get the emotions out. But don't get them out to him because there's nothing he can do. If there's actually a solution to be had, by all means. If there is no solution, don't. You look, it's bound to be an argument. That's gonna be an argument, and you're not gonna know why it's an argument. You're not gonna understand why that's an argument. You're not gonna understand why he got frustrated. Just immediately he was frustrated because you brought him an emotional output piece that he can't solve. That's why I said take it to the prayer mat. God solve everything. And God don't mind if you do come to him just to cry. Right? So let's move on. He said you can't cook, you don't know how to cater to a man, you don't know how to hush your mouth, and also the other thing he said was what was the last thing he said? You don't know how to let a man lead. Now, I'm not a real big fan of the verbiage of letting a man lead because you can't really let a man lead anything. He's either leading things and you're following, or he's leading stuff and you're not following. So I don't like that verbiage. But let's move into something that we need to hear. Because yesterday I touched on women being scared of being feminine, and this is why his words and similar words like it trigger them so much. We talked about the spiritual value because this is the work of a woman. To be feminine is work that women must do. And a lot of times the hyenas try to take the easy way rather than actually do the work necessary to become a better woman. So spiritually, we talked about church. Health, we talked about obesity. We talked about cutting corners with your weight, getting BBLs instead of actually looking at your diet, looking at what you eat, learning how to cook so you can eat what you cook, all of these sorts of things. We're not looking out for our skin. We're not looking out for our mental health. We want somebody else to deal with our mental health issues while we don't deal with them. And that's easier. It's much easier to project and make other people deal with our mental health issues rather than us actually say, you know what, I need to go to therapy. I need to address whatever's going on with me, whether I'm just depressed, whether I got a lot of anxiety, whether I'm really struggling with whatever is going on with me. I need to take a look at myself and do this work that I need to do. Families, we talked about not having any boundaries. A feminine woman has clear set boundaries. Her home is a safe place for herself and the other members of her family. She supports her husband. She supports her children. She raises them according to the culture that her husband set in the household that she agreed to. Excuse me. Let's move to appearance. A lot of hyenas don't have no standard for their appearance. Feminine women always have a standard for their appearance. There's always a standard. I would never show up to y'all in a bonnet. I would never get on this camera part of the bonnet brigade. It's just not about to happen. Even in my real laid back days where I would at least get on here with a laid back hijab on. I might not have been suited and booted, but I ain't come up with your bonnet and I'm steady doing one of these in the camera, get it together. What's wrong with you? You done got on camera steady, wash your face. You stay wiping. So you didn't wash your face this morning. So I know if you didn't wash your face, you didn't take a shower, you didn't brush your teeth, so you just hot and musty. You hot, musty, and crusty. See, feminine women don't do that. We don't do that. Because we have to have standards for our appearance, because this actually bears upon our belonging market value and our friendship market value. Okay? It bears on it because birds of a feather flock together is a reality. How you present yourself is your belonging market value. That is tied directly to your appearance value. Your friendship market value. Listen, birds of a feather flocking together is real because you can't be friends with people that you don't share any connection with on any level. So your friends reflect who you are. Your friends reflect what you think and how you see yourself. How you present in the neighborhood. Right? Because we all know the neighborhood skank. Or the chick that always keep up trouble. That's her belonging market value. That's part of her appearance value. So when I'm up and through the neighborhood, listen, for example, belonging market value, listen. I am extremely nice and extremely courteous to the maintenance people in the building that I live in. From the lady that's mopping the floor to the guy that's got to come up and fix your plumbing or whatever if something goes wrong with it. I'm friendly with the office staff. I'm friendly with the people the staff that's all around. That is my belonging market value. They cannot tell you that the lady that live in that apartment is a bee. They can't tell you that. She walk around here, she got a resting bee face, she don't talk, she don't speak, she got a little attitude, you know what I'm saying? No, I don't have that. That's not my belonging market value. I don't walk around. No. Because these people, there's a perception that you're giving off. Okay? And there's a standard to it. We often like to say, I don't care about what people think of us, but you should. Because it is very important. And what it does is it dictates how people gonna treat you. Because people talk. You're a walking advertisement of yourself. It's just like going to a restaurant or a store getting some service and it was bad service. You know how that spread? You're the representation of your own brand. So how do I want my brand represented? Do I want people to be, whenever I come up in conversation, because people talk. Are you no lady that live in such and such? Well, I don't like her. Why you don't like her? You see the way she act? You see what, And when you do good, good come back to you. I'm sorry, we may go over a minute or two. Good come back to you when you have good appearance value. Listen, that go to your spiritual value as well. What about your clothing? What does your clothing say about you? Does it say that people should respect you and take you seriously as a woman? Or do it say, this is a 304 right here, I can talk to her any kind of way? Hey, Studio Ryu, it's been a long time. I can talk to her any kind of way. I don't have to take her seriously. Look at her. She running around here with a bonnet, slippers, pajamas. She got crust in her eyes. Don't nobody care what she's talking about. Feminine women are neat and clean. We smell nice. We are dressed appropriately for our age and where we are. And we are aware of ourselves and our environment and how we moving in it. There isn't a I don't care or a who gonna check me boo attitude. Feminine women don't carry that attitude. And finally, your dwelling. Thank you, a bathing soul. And finally, your dwelling value. Too much chaos in the home because there's no order in the home, because there are no men in the home. Feminine women understand the value of having order and structure within the home. And we understand that systems, order, and structure is masculine energy. Okay? It is masculine energy. So feminine women do not make a point to run the men off. Thank you, ex-church girl. Say, could you please do more teachings on appearance? Thank you. Okay, we can do that. We make sure not to run men off because a feminine woman isn't going to be caught anywhere talking about how she doesn't need a man. We're not somewhere getting caught up talking about how we don't need men because we're feminine and we definitely need men. And we know that. And there is no shame in that. We don't carry a sense of shame. But all of the things, and I only listed the first 5 of the 10 life values. That triggers hyenas because a woman, in order to be feminine, is actually doing the work. She's not taking or cutting corners in this. She's doing what she needs to do to get her stuff together in her life and become actually a better woman. See all that healing y'all be talking about? If you're not healing from inside out, if you are not actually working on your life from the spiritual value, the health value, the family value, the appearance value, the dwelling value, mobility value, education value, the profession value, the leisure value, and the wealth value, you are not working and you're not healing. See, a lot of hyenas use the word healing as a excuse where you gotta accept how I'm acting right now because I ain't healed yet. Lock yourself in a padded room until you do, because you out here wilding out. And ain't nobody got to deal with that while you quote unquote healing. Girl, if you don't knock it off. Better find a way to heal. And find a way for your man to heal, because he gonna need some A-game, 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 Okay, so this is addressing men's health, okay? Because our brothers need their health addressed, all right? Because what this does, what A-game actually does is, it is a vasodilator, right? Which basically just means that it increases your blood flow. And when you have an increase in your blood flow, that means that the red blood cells that carry oxygen to the different organs in your body do that more efficiently. So when that's done more efficiently, men's vitality, energy, strength, and libido are all increased because of the increased blood flow, the increased oxygen, okay, that's going through his body. This improves his overall health, and it's accomplished with 21 herbs, no artificial ingredients, nothing to make you feel dizzy woozy, none of that type of stuff. Make sure to drink water, plenty of water with this. And if you're trying to become part of the A-Game family, all you have to do is click the link at the top of the chat, agameherbal.com, and get a 10% discount using the code Kendra10, and this box of awesomeness be delivered to you ASAP, okay? I want to thank everyone for coming through, everyone for their contribution, everyone for just hanging with me, and a warm thank you to my support team, without which none of this is possible, cannot bring you content. So thank you. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites. Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.